Hey, I'm TheLoopyAlchemist, and on today's kinda random speculation episode, we're going to be talking about an Elder Scrolls movie. So, there isn't any talk, at least that I understand at the moment, that one's in the works, or, well, certainly not that, or is even being like the idea throwing around of putting one into the works. So, nothing really imminent we're discussing, just kind of my basic thoughts on what one would be like. And is there any chance of one even getting made? I'd say yeah, actually. Like, I don't know if the summer blockbuster superhero craze ever dies down, which will probably be never, but I could definitely see one getting released as a summer blockbuster, just because it's a fantasy series. So once they finish up with God knows how many movies they're going to get out of The Hobbit, they maybe would move on to Elder Scrolls. Like, I don't mean like they as like Warner Brothers, the specific entity. I mean, considering how they've been treating Merp, you'd think they hate Skyrim. But anyways, back on track. I mean, it already has a well-established universe and some well-established fans. I don't think you'd really have a hard time turning it into a really good movie series. So, I guess the question is then, like, if one's going to get made, what story would you use? You obviously can't do any of the games, so Arena, Daggerfall, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim. Well, or at least they probably wouldn't do it just because they're so open-ended, like with how the hero can actually be anyone. There's actually been a bit of talk about maybe making it on Akvir, like the disaster at Ionith, and admittedly I'd love to see that, just of how cool it would be, but at the same time I wouldn't want them to do that at all, because Akvir has amazing potential, but it would be so easy to screw it up as well. Like, if it just doesn't look right, it doesn't relate well enough to the lore or anything, like, I don't know, I'd definitely want Akvir to get explored by Bethesda first, before someone else who probably won't quite understand the material as well. I'm just kind of going out on a limb on that one. I should give them more credit than that, but with stuff like this, I'd rather err on the side of caution. If they ever make one, I'd probably say my best guess would be, if not make an entire new story, I'd say do the orthodox version of Tiber Septim. Because if you think about it, that's almost perfectly written to be a movie. Well, okay, not really considering how sparse the details are, but you've got to admit, it has amazing potential. Not only do we have, I don't even know how many huge epic battles there could be, but it's also, from the get-go, pretty similar to Skyrim, where it has Tiber Septim, Talos, whatever you want to call them, coming from Atmora, being a Nord, learning how to fight, going up to High Hrothgar to meet the Greybeards. So all those elements are at least pretty familiar, since basically everyone's played Skyrim now. So you'd kind of have a nice jumping off point. Okay, this is familiar. Now we can go into the more new stuff. I mean, granted, it actually gets kind of darker later on with the Mantella, and the Tiber Wars are around 40 years actually, so who knows how many movies that would take, unless there was like I don't know, you could just get around that with good writing. As far as how much that would relate to the existing lore, and how much it would piss off all the lore nerds like me, honestly, as much as I love the lore, a fictional universe isn't worth getting upset over. I'm just gonna throw that out there right now. Not that I don't like to argue about these things, but come on. Yeah, that actually would be an issue, and I'm like, unless you wrote it like really smartly, there would at least be a few concessions you'd have to make, and even then, I guess the main thing is, it's kind of, I don't know, well, I haven't really, talked to any other lore people about their, opinions, or really anyone else in general on the whole Orthodox versus, heretical Tiber Septim thing. But basically, the heretical one seems a lot more likely because it's backed up with more evidence. If you want to know what the heck I mean about all that, just go, watch the episodes on it. Yeah. I don't know, if we get to see that more, I think that would please everyone enough and they just forget about it. Or you could just do some cop-out explanation, like a dragon break or something like that. For those of you who don't know what that is, that's basically when time splits and becomes any number of multiple realities. Actually, that's the gist of it. It's a bit more complicated, but you get the idea. So, long story short, smart writing combined with, I don't know, an actual good quality movie, like, it depends how well it got made, like, honestly, if you really put a lot of effort into it, I don't think you could, well, you can never top The Lord of the Rings in terms of just how good those movies are, but you could at least get something kind of close in spirit. I haven't read either of the novels on, like, the Infernal City and Umbrella and that stuff, but that might work too. Really, it's a big enough universe, you could definitely make something cool out of it, is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, that's just about it. So, if they ever make a movie, I'd say definitely Orthodox, Tiber Septim, or just write an entirely new story, that would be good too. Or you could have it during the Oblivion Crisis as well, and not go into that much detail about the hero of Kvatch. Or, yeah. So that's just kind of my 2 cents on that. Even though the 2 cents was mainly rambling about lore stuff, and despite rambling, not even really giving that many details about what it was. I'm tired. Well, anyways, be sure to tell me your opinion in the comments. So, I'm TheLoopyAlchemist, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.